All right. So please make use of the chat. Let's know where you are joining us from.
Okay.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. So let's know where you are joining us from. Let's put that in the chat. As you can see, my attire is giving Ghanaian, but I'm actually in Nigeria. So let's know where you are joining us from. Hi, Shinyere, Peters, Ruth, Hillary. Good evening. Good evening. So please let us know in the chat where you're joining us from. All right. So I can see Moturayo. You're joining us from Ogun State. Welcome to this master class. And yeah, we have Bolaji from the United Kingdom. We have Lucas from Ogun State. So please keep the comments coming in. Let us know where you're joining us from. All right. So if you are here and you have a friend that is not here, please invite your friend. We'll be starting very soon. So if you are here and you know that there's a friend of yours that would need this masterclass, so please send the invite link to your friends, to your colleagues, and everyone who would need this masterclass. All right, so please share the link with your friends, with people, with your networks, with your colleagues at work, people you know would need this masterclass. Please share. So we're going to be learning a lot, guys, and I'm actually very excited. All right, so please share. Okay, so I can see Comfort from Lagos. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good evening. Good evening, Comfort. Nice to have you here. Good evening, everyone on this call. It's so good to have everyone here. And thank you for joining. All right, so we'll be starting now. We'll be starting now. Like I said, please, if you know someone that is not here, please send the person the link so that they can join. Thank you very much as you do that. So everyone just joining, welcome, good evening, welcome, good evening, good morning. So if you're just joining, please let us know where you're joining us from. You can let us know in the chat, just type in where you're joining us from. If you're joining us from Lagos, from anywhere in Nigeria, you can let us know in the chat. If it's outside Nigeria, you can also let us know in the chat. Thank you so much as you do that. Good to see you too, Miriam. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Michael. Thank you for joining us. Michael is joining us from Lagos. So let us know where you're joining us from in the chat. Good evening, everybody. Okay. Okay, so I hope everyone can see my screen. If you can see my screen, please let me know in the chat. If you can see my screen, please let me know in the chat. Okay, that's good. All right, so I don't want to waste our time. Again, if you're just joining us, like I said earlier, if you have a friend, if you know somebody that will need this masterclass, please send the invite link, send the meeting link to them. And thank you so much as you do that. So it's now, we are live. So my name is Sandra Ashagade, and I'm the data analytics lead at Amdo Analytics. And I'm so excited. I'm so pleased to meet you all. Thank you so much to everyone who is joining, to everyone who has joined and is still going to join. Thank you so much. And today in this masterclass, I'm going to be showing you how you can clean data effectively using Power BI's Power Query. Now, why do you, as a data analyst, why do you, data analyst, data scientist, whichever field of the data umbrella that you are in, why do you need to clean data? So the first thing is, what is data cleaning? The first question that you need to ask is, what is data cleaning? All right, so data cleaning is the process of detecting, correcting, or removing corrupt or inaccurate records from a data set. It ensures data quality and accuracy. So it is the process of detecting. You first of all detect, you first of all observe your data to see if it actually needs to be cleaned. Now, before you can do anything, before you can even do your work as a data analyst or data scientist, before you can do anything, you need to ensure that the data that you have is accurate, it is clean, it is free of errors, it is properly transformed. Now, we have different tools to do data cleaning. We have different tools to transform data. But how effective are these tools? For one, I really love to use Power Query. So we have Power Query in Microsoft Excel. We have Power Query in Microsoft Power BI. So Power Query makes it very easy for you to clean and transform your data effectively. So no wasting of time. What is the goal of data cleaning? So data cleaning's goal is to improve data consistency and reliability. You want to make sure, or you want to ensure that the analysis that you are providing is reliable or can be trusted. If you are presenting something that is wrong, you are going to have problems, right? So that is why we need to ensure that our data sets are cleaned. All right, so why is it important that you clean and transform your data? Why is it important that you clean and transform your data? The first thing is accuracy. So it ensures the correctness of data analysis and reporting. You want to make sure that you are not reporting something that is not true to your stakeholders or to your employers. If you do that, then you're going to have problems with them. Imagine if they're expecting a particular figure, and from your analysis, you are showing something different from what they are expecting. Then that is problem. That is to say that you didn't do your work properly. As a data analyst, as a data scientist, you don't just jump into the data and start visualizing and start analyzing. No, you first of all check if there are things, if there are attributes that needs to be cleaned, if there are attributes that needs to be transformed. So after accuracy, we have consistency. Data cleaning ensures or provides uniform data standards and formats. So you have to ensure that each attribute in your table, in your data, they are correct. You don't want a situation, or you don't want to have a situation whereby in a data where you are supposed to have email, you are seeing somebody's location. That is wrong. So let's say you want to send a broadcast message, or you want to send email to people, then you send it to the location. It's not possible. So you have to ensure that your data is cleaned. All right. So we're actually getting somewhere, and I promise you this masterclass is going to be insightful. All right. So we have decision making. Data cleaning facilitates informed and precise decision making. So it facilitates informed and precise decision making. Informed. You don't just want to make up something that, oh, this is this, this is that. No, you need to ensure that your data is correct. If it's not correct, then you are not going to be providing any informed decision making. Okay, then we have efficiency. Data cleaning reduces time and effort in handling errors and inconsistencies. So now, when you are presented with a data, the first thing, again, like I said, the first thing is to ensure, first of all, you observe this data with your eyes. Is this data clean? Is it transformed the way I want to use it, or the way you would love to use it? Whenever you are cleaning data, you need to have the goal of what you want to do, of what analysis, of what thing in general that you want to get from your data. You need to have that goal in mind, because your goal would help you clean and transform your data effectively. So you see, I'm using the terms clean and transform because they go hand in hand. They're like brothers and sisters. As you are cleaning your data, you are also transforming it, because when you get the word transform, it means you are changing it from one form to another form. All right, so as you are cleaning your data, you are also in a way transforming it. Okay, so moving on, how do you know what to clean in your data? Now, this is a question that I get. I think I've gotten this question a lot of times. Like, how do I know what to clean? I'm presented with this data set. How do I know what to clean? Now, let me tell you how to know what to clean in your data. So the first step is identifying the errors. You have to use your eyes. Like I said, you have to use your eyes. Look through your data. Are there missing values? Are there duplicates? Are there anomalies that don't need to be there? So you have to look through your data to identify the errors that you need to clean, that you need to remove, that you need to transform. So you need to look through your data and identify these errors. All right. Then the next one is understanding the data. You have to know the context and purpose of the data set. Remember, I said earlier that you need to have a goal. You need to have a goal for every analysis that you want to derive. You need to have a goal. All right. So is it that the goal is to monitor trends? When we talk about trends, we're talking about over time. All right. Analysis over time. That's what we mean when we talk about trend. Is it that you want to analysis over time? You want to analyze the trend of a particular thing, of a particular metric? Is it the trend of sales, the trends of sales volume or profit, or whatever the metric is that you want to analyze? So you need to know the context and purpose of data set. So you need to have that goal in mind. Your goal will help you identify the areas that you need to clean and the areas that you need to transform. So by the time you start working on the data set that I have here, you would understand deeply what I mean. All right. So if you're actually learning something, please let us know in the chat. Okay. And like I said earlier, if you know that you have a friend that is not here, please do well to share the invite link with your friend. Do well to share the meeting link with your friend. And thank you as you do that. And if you're just joining us, thank you very much. I'm so excited to meet you. So the next step in how to know what to clean is set cleaning criteria. You don't just clean anyhow. No, you need to know, like you need to have a guideline. All right, you need to have a guideline. So define what constitutes clean data for your specific needs. It's possible, you might think a data is dirty, but it's not dirty. So you need to set your cleaning criteria. You need to define, okay, what does it mean for this particular data to be dirty? Because it can be clean and to you it's dirty. So you need to know what a clean data means. And I've explained before that data cleaning is the process of identifying errors and eradicating those errors from your data sets. All right. So what are the common data cleaning techniques that we have? So irrespective of the tool that you are using, although we're going to be using Power Query, but irrespective of the tool that you're going to be using, what are the common data cleaning techniques that we have? So number one is removing duplicates. What are duplicates? Duplicates are redundant entries, entries that keep repeating themselves. So you have a particular data, and that data is appearing twice or thrice or multiple times. That is a redundant entry. It keeps repeating itself. So you have to eradicate duplicates so that you give out correct analysis. Imagine they're expecting a figure to be 2,000 and you are presenting 4,000. So it's possible that there's a duplicate somewhere. All right, so you need to identify your duplicates and eradicate them from your data. Then the next technique is handling missing values. So use methods like imputation or deletion. Imputation means, all right, so you don't want, so there's something that I've seen beginners do, some beginners actually do. And I don't know, it's possible, you know, while they were being taught and they were told, okay, wherever you see a missing value, remove it. No. You need to ask yourself, why is there a missing value in this data? So always ask questions. Don't just do things because according to your own understanding, ask questions. All right. So ask the right persons, the right people, ask them questions. Why is there a missing data? So if there's no reason, you can remove it, you can delete it. But if there's a reason, you need to impute the correct value in that value. Or impute something to show that, okay, you do not know why this is missing, but this is actually missing. Although there's something supposed to, although there's a data that is supposed to be there, but it is actually missing. So always ask questions. Don't just remove missing values because, oh, they are missing. No. Now, the next cleaning technique is standardizing formats. Ensure consistency in data representation. So, all right, by the time you see the data that we're going to be working with, so you would understand this better. So ensure that the values in your data are consistent. All right. So let's say we have an email column, an email attribute in our data, and in that email, it is supposed to be, let's say, sandrashagade@gmail.com. Right? That is an email, and then we are having a date. What is a date doing there? A date is not supposed to be there. So you have to ensure that there is consistency in your data representation. Now, the next step in the next common data cleaning technique is correcting errors. So fix inaccuracies in data entry. So just like handling missing values, you can also have errors. So you have to identify these errors and fix the inaccuracies, fix these errors in the data entries. Okay. All right, so time for us now to get into action, okay? So we have this data set. It was gotten from IMDb. So IMDb is a database that lets you review, that lets you see top movies, top shows around the globe from different countries. It lets you see reviews. It lets you see the scores and everything. So this data set contains 100 movies from the IMDb database, and it has 11 variables. So your variables are your columns, actually. So it has 11 variables. It has the movie ID, the title of the movie, the year the movie was released, the genre, the duration, the country, the content rating, the director's name, the income, the number of votes, and the score for that movie. All right, so I've seen people, like before they watch a movie, they would always ask, please, or they would always go to Rotten Tomatoes or go to any platform that lets you see the score for a movie. So if a movie scores below 5.0, they're like, nah, since people score this movie 5.0, meaning it wasn't that it, or it wasn't it at all, like it wasn't interesting. So if you're seeing a movie that was scored, let's say from 8.0, you'll be like, okay, this movie is interesting. All right. So that is what this IMDb database offers. All right. So it is a messy data set with plenty, I'm emphasizing on the word plenty, with plenty of errors to be corrected. And we are going to see how we can do that using the Power Query. All right, so we have this visualization task, okay? So for every analysis, there is a task. You are not just going there to analyze whatever. No, you need to, just like cleaning, just like setting cleaning criteria, you need to define what you are going to be showing or what analysis you are going to be drawing from your data, because this will guide you. All right, so you have a messy data set, you don't know what to clean. That is because you don't know the purpose of the data set. You don't know the purpose, you don't know the context. In fact, you don't even know what the data set is all about. You don't know what you are to get from the data set. But if you know what you are to get from the data set, then it will be easy for you to know what to clean. All right, so this is another way to know what to clean. If you know the purpose of the analysis, it will be easy for you to know what to clean. So now let's see the visualization task that we have. All right, so we have, who are the top 10 directors in terms of average movie income? All right, so we have that, okay, a particular director has directed like 10 movies in this data set. So in terms of their average income, who are the top 10? Okay, then we have, which genres are most popular in terms of the number of movies produced? So we have movies listed in different genres. All right, so we're going to see how to do that. Then how has the number of movies produced changed over the years? So we're going to see how to do that. Okay, then what are the most common content ratings for movies? Which movies have the highest income and what are their attributes? All right, so we're going to see how to do that. Okay, so this is the color theme, the canvas size. I do get questions, right? Okay, how do you manage to expand your canvas size? Is it that you go to, because there's a tool, there's a software, yeah, I think a software called Canva that lets you that lets you create or design the background of your of your visualization. But I don't have the time to do that. So I do everything that I need to do, I do it in Power BI. I don't go to Canva. I don't use PowerPoint. I'm not saying those doing it, they're doing it wrong. No, everybody with their own preference. But we're going to do everything in Power BI. We're not leaving Power BI for anything. All right. Okay. So how has the class been? Before I show you what this data set is, before I show you what this data set is all about, how has the class been? Let us know in the chat. All right, let us know in the chat. How has the class been? Let us know in the chat. Again, if you have a friend that is not here, please, I beg you, invite your friend. Share this Zoom link with your friend, because we are going to be learning a lot. Don't be stingy with this knowledge, okay? So share this Zoom link with your friends, your family, your colleagues, people who you really think or know would need this, all right? Okay, so I can see the fire. All right, so I can see the fire. So please keep on commenting, okay? Keep on commenting. Your comment is actually motivating me. So please keep on commenting. Okay, so let us move on. All right, so I'm going to be showing you what the data set looks like. All right, so this is the data set. Now, as a beginner, or We can be intermediate or experts. Even we experts, sometimes we get frightened. By the time we see something serious, we're like, why is it that people cannot just extract information the correct way? Well, we cannot really answer that. But then, even if they can't extract information the correct way, it is still your job as a data analyst, as a data scientist, as a data engineer. It is your job to clean this data. Nobody will do it for you, and you can't question anybody. All right. So this is how the data set looks like. All right. So this is how the data set looks like. Now, the first thing that will come to your mind will be, how will I clean this data now? Where do I begin? Where do I begin? So actually, this is a CSV file. This is, so CSV stands for comma separated values. And this data set was extracted from the platform using the programming language R. Okay, so we have a programming language R. So this data set was extracted using that language. And this is the result of the extraction. All right, so we have structured data, we have semi-structured data, we have, okay, so we have structured data, we have semi-structured data, and then we have unstructured data. Now, this data set falls in the category of semi-structured because it is actually structured in a way because it's a CSV file, all right? So now, if it was a structured data set, all these values would be in their separate columns. But then we have all of them together like this. So we need to split them into their own different columns. Okay, so let's just get to it. So if you look closely, let me just zoom in. If you look closely, you would see that the column headers, right, they are all separated by a semicolon. So now this is tip number one. Observe your data. Observe your data. Observe your data, and you know how to clean what you need to clean. So the first thing that I'm saying here is that, okay, it's a CSV file. Normally, CSV files, they are to be separated by commas, but this is separated by a semicolon. So that's the first observation, all right? So we have this. All of these attributes are separated by a semicolon. So this has given us a starting point. So I'm going to go over to my Power BI. All right. So I'm going to go over to my Power BI and I'll open a blank report. Believe me, guys, Power BI is a very powerful tool. That is why there is power in the BI. All right. It's a very, very, very powerful tool. I mean, things that will take you hours, maybe days, months to do with some other tools. In Power BI, you can do that effectively, you know, and with limit and with and also faster time. All right. So I want to get my data set now. Okay, so I want to get my data set from here. So this is a CSV file. I'm going to go to my get data. All right, so I'm going to go to my get data. I'll go to my get data, and since it's a CSV file, I'm going to select the text or the CSV option, okay? And then I'm going to come here to select the data set. Okay, so remember what I said, right? So this data set was separated by a delimiter, and the delimiter is a semicolon. Now, Power BI is very good to the extent that it can auto-detect delimiters. It can auto-detect things that would take other maybe programming languages, like you need to write a code for it to be able to detect it. But in Power BI, it is very intelligent to the point that it can auto-detect for you. All right, so you see now that we have our attributes or our variables in their separate columns. But still yet, we are not done. Okay, so we need to clean this data. And how do we clean this data? So I'm going to come down here to the bottom and click on transform data. All right, so when I click on transform data, it will bring me to the Power Query editor. Now, this is the Odogu. This is the Odogu of data cleaning, of data transformation. I don't know, like you can argue about it, but to me, this is the Odogu of data cleaning and data transformation. All right, so now we have this. We have this. Okay, so we're going to be seeing all the errors, all the anomalies, the outliers very soon, and we're going to be eradicating them from this data so that we can actually create our dashboard. So let me give you a sneak peek of the dashboard that we're going to be creating. All right. Okay, so this is what we're going to be creating. So imagine, from this messy data set, we are going to be doing something this beautiful. So let's see how we can do that. Let me just close this, okay? All right. So now the first thing that I'm seeing here is that my headers are not where they're supposed to be. Okay, so my headers are in the row. All right, so my headers are in the row. So how do I get it from the row to where they're supposed to be? At the headers here, I can see column 1, column 2, but no, that is not what I want to be there. I want IMDb title ID to come here where column 1, where the column 1 is. I want original title to come up here where column 2 is. So there's a very fast way to do that. Besides the table, you'll see a table icon, a very little small table icon. So I'm going to click on it. And then I'll select use first row. The reason why I'm using first row as headers is because my headers are actually in the first row. You can see that they're in row 1. So I'll come here and I'll click on use first row as headers. So we are done with that. We are done with that. We'll come back to renaming these headers very soon. But the main problem is the data set itself. All right. So the main problem is the data set itself. So now the first thing, according to what we've learned earlier, the first thing that I want to do is check if there are missing values in my data, in my variables. So all of these columns are all variables. So let me start from the IMDb title. So I'm going to come here, click on this drop down, and I can see all the titles, and then I can also see blank. So I want to be sure that, okay, we have a complete blank in a particular row so that I do not remove the blank and lose out on information, okay? So I'm going to unselect all and select just the blank, all right, just to see. Okay, so you can see that this particular row, there is nothing there. There is nothing in this particular row. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove this blank. So in this case, you can remove the blank. Mind you, it is not all blanks that you need to remove, but in this case, when a single row is filled with blanks all through, you can remove that blank. But if you're having blank in only one of the variables and then you have values in the other variables, then please do not remove the blank, okay? Do not remove the blank because then you will lose out on insights, on valuable insights, all right? So I'm going to cancel this step that I just took, all right? Because in Power Query, there's no Control Z. The only Control Z that we have is your applied step, what you can see by the right here. So I'm going to cancel this, okay? So I'll come back here to the title, and then I will unselect the blank. The reason why I am unselecting the blank is because I do not want that blank to appear in my table. Since the entire row is blank, I do not want it to appear. All right, so I'll unselect the blank from here and click on OK. All right, now the next thing is to remove duplicates. We want to ensure that we do not have duplicate entries. If you have duplicate entries, then you're going to be bringing out ×2 or ×3 of the insight that you are originally supposed to give out. Okay, so I'm going to come back here to this small table, and I'll come down to remove duplicates. All right, so whether or not there is duplicates in your data, always do this just to be safe, just to avoid Adainu always make sure that removing duplicates is top of your list. All right. Now, the next thing is we are going to examine the columns one by one. We're going to examine the columns one by one and see what needs to be cleaned in our columns. All right. So I'm going to examine the IMDb title, and I can see that, okay, the values here are consistent. The values here, all the IDs begin with TT. All right, TT. So all the values here are consistent. I'm not seeing anyone that is not supposed to be there. I'm not seeing AA. I'm not seeing DD. I'm seeing TT. All true. So that means the values in these columns are consistent. So let's move on to, so I'll cancel this. Let's move on to the title. Again, if you know that you have a friend, you have someone that needs to be here, please and please and please share this Zoom link with them so that they can join and come and learn. All right. We're not just going to be cleaning data. We're also going to be building a very, very insightful, beautiful visualization. Okay. So let's go on to the title. I'll come here and select this filter drop down and just look through. All right, so these are all their names. Okay. All right, so I don't think there is nothing there that needs to be cleaned. Now let's come to the release year. If you check, right, the release year, all right, so in Power Query, if you want to know a data type or if you want to know the data type that your column has, you will know from the top here. Besides the column, you would either see 1, 2, 3, you would either see, or maybe you see ABC, or you see 1.2. So all of these are data types. So now, in the release here, I can see ABC 1, 2, 3. So I can zoom in. Power BI doesn't have that feature yet where you can zoom in the Power Query editor, and I pray that they do because it's just important. All right, so if beside the release here, we have ABC. And ABC, when I click on it, when I click on this ABC, when we come down here, ABC means text. ABC means text. And mind you, this is a date column, right? You can see dates all through. You can see dates all through. So meaning if we want to do a trend analysis, we cannot do that because this column is set to dates. Usually, Power BI, whenever Power BI sees a date column, it will auto-detect the data type. Okay, Power BI has the ability to auto-detect data types for you based on the values in your column. But now it detected this column to be a text, and that is because if we look and observe, all right, by the time I come here to this ABC, and by the time I click on it and then I change it to dates, you will see that now I have 7% errors. You can see that, okay, it has converted some values to date while some are errors. So why is it? Why is that so? So I'm going to cancel this step. All right, I'm going to cancel this step and come to the drop down again. Okay, so come to the drop down again and see. So you can see that even this release year column, these dates are not standardized. Remember, I talked about standardizing your data formats. You can see some dates. They are appearing in a different way, maybe in a way that they're not supposed to appear. Some are year, month, and day. Some are day, month, year. Some are even letters or characters. So let me scroll down. You can see 23rd of December, 1966. You can see the 6th of March, year 1951. Power BI does not know what Marzo is. So now that is where you come in as a data analyst or data scientist. You need to clean this to be able to, remember, we have a visualization task to see the trends over time, right? So if we have this data set like this, we would not be able to perform that task. Again, remember, you need to have your goal in mind. Okay, so I will not clean this yet. So let us continue checking. So let's check the genre. We have the genre. So a particular movie can be listed in 2 or more genres. All right, it's possible that a movie can be listed in sci-fi and crime. But what if we want to know the genre that is most popular? I can see action appearing almost everywhere. I can see drama appearing almost everywhere. So how do I now know which one is most popular? Which genre appeared in almost all of the movies? So in this case, we need to transform. Now we are not cleaning. Okay, remember I said you need to know when to clean and when to transform. All right, so in this case, we're going to transform these. So you see how to do that very soon. So we need to transform these and break them and then make them to be one so that we have the, so that we can calculate the number of times a particular genre appeared. And then we'll know which genre people like watching. Okay, this is, if you are very conversant with Netflix, when you watch a particular movie or a TV show, Netflix will recommend something similar. I don't know if you have noticed that they'll recommend something similar. And that is because they are studying you. They are studying you. Everything that you do, their database is storing it. So from your usage, they know the kind of things that you like to see, and then they will recommend those type of things to you, those type of movies, those type of TV shows to you. All right, then we have duration. Then we have duration. So let us see what is in the duration. You can see that I'm not just going into clean. No, I'm first of all observing. When I observe, then it will not give me a clear picture of what I need to clean or how I need to clean it. All right, so I'm going to go into duration and see. So I can see numbers. Let me come out. You can see that duration is also a text. That is because it is possible that our column is not just made up of just numbers alone, and this duration is in minutes. All right, so it's supposed to be number. What if we want to calculate the average duration? All right, the average duration of movies. What if we want to calculate that? How do we do that? So we need to clean this particular column. So let me go in again. All right, so I can see hyphen, I can see blanks and all of that. So we need to actually fix this. I can see a particular duration that has alphabets to it too. So I can see 178C, which is not supposed to be there. That C is not supposed to be there. I can see INF, now not applicable, not. All these things are not supposed to be there. So we're going to see how to fix that particular error, that particular dirtiness very soon. Now let us go into country. So let's say you want to see the number of movies produced by country. Now let us check. So I can see Brazil, Denmark, France, Germany, India, Iran, Italy, and then I'm seeing Italy again, Italy 1. We are just supposed to have 1 Italy, right? So we're going to see how to clean this. Like I see New Zealand, New Zealand. You see that the problem is becoming too much. All right, and I can see UK, US, US dots, USA. We are only supposed to have just 1 USA, please. All right, so we're going to see how to do that very soon. Then we have content rating. So imagine you just now, you did not bother to check. You just went on to start visualizing. You're going to have issues. You now start asking yourself, what did I do wrong? The thing that you do wrong, the thing that you did wrong is that you forgot to, or you ignored, not just that you forgot, maybe you ignored the importance of cleaning your data and transforming it. All right, so let us move on to content rating. All right, so we have NA. So NA actually means not applicable, okay? We have approved, G, not rated, PG, PG-13, R means rated. We have unrated. What is the difference between not rated and unrated? They're both the same thing. All right, so we're going to see how to, how to clean all of these things. Is it that we remove them, or we keep them, or we change the values and put in something else? So you're going to see. So make sure you don't leave. Make sure you don't leave. And like I said, you are going to actually learn a lot. All right, so let us go to the director. So I'm just going through the director, going through the director names. I can see a lot of names. All right, so there is nothing here that needs to be cleaned, except if at the end of the day, we're told that, oh, a particular director, that is not how his name is supposed to be spelled. Okay, then we can come back to Power Query and, and replace their present name with the correct name. All right. So you see how to replace values in Power Query. Okay, so we have this blank column. You can see that this column is 100% empty. So for those of you that have Power BI, I know that a lot of us, or some of us here, have Power BI, and some of us are very new. So just don't be scared, right? Power BI is actually user-friendly. It is very, very user-friendly. So don't be scared. So for those of us that have Power BI, and maybe you do not see this in your Power BI, let me show you let me show you how you can see these bars and how you can see this quality check. So from this quality check, I can know how many percent of my data is empty, how many percent of my data is valid, how many percent have errors. Okay, so I'll just come to view, and then let me turn off this column distribution. You see that when I turn off the column distribution, the bars are gone. Now, the reason for me putting those bars is so that I know the distribution of values in my columns or in my data. So let me put the bars on again by turning on the column distribution. So let me go back to the ID. You can see that the ID is 100 distinct and 100 unique. Anytime you have ID in your table, let's say you have just one primary table and then you have a primary ID, your IDs are supposed to be unique. There is no, there shouldn't be duplicates. So if I now see that, okay, my bars are not arranged on the same line, that means there's a problem. That means there's a duplicate. Then I will now go into the data and check, okay, why do I have a duplicate? Is it that two movies are sharing the same ID? Do I need to remove the duplicates? So these are, you need to check, all right? Don't just assume. All right, so that is the reason for me turning on these bars. All right, then the quality, the column quality. We have column quality here. If I turn it off, you see that I can almost see how many percent is empty, how many percent is valid, how many percent have errors. So I'm going to turn on the column quality. All right, so we have this empty column. I'm just going to remove it. I'm going to right click on the column and then click on remove. Easy peasy. That's how you delete or remove unnecessary, unwanted columns from your data. Then we have income. Our income is supposed to be saved as a number, but here I am seeing ABC. So let me again click on this ABC so that we can see the type of data types that we have here. We have decimal. So anytime your column is showing you 1.2, it means that the values in your columns are decimal values. If it's showing you a dollar sign beside the column name, it means that they are fixed decimal. Fixed decimal and decimal, they are the same, just that decimal number columns are not fixed. So for fixed decimal, it means that all the columns have, all the values have been standardized to a particular decimal place. So let's say you want all the values in your columns to be standardized to 2 decimal places. You can do that. Then we have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 means whole number. That means it is not a decimal. Like 1, 500, 500, 5,000 is a whole number. So this income column, how do I calculate total income when I am seeing ABC? Right? So we need to change it to a whole number. But what happens when I change it to a whole number? So let me do that. I'm going to have error. So let me cancel this step and come back. Why am I having error in this column? That is because we have dollar sign in together with our values. The dollar sign is not a number. It is a string. It is a text, or it's a string. Let me just say a string. You cannot sum dollar. Yes, you can sum money that is dollar, but you cannot sum this dollar sign together with your values. So we would need to remove these dollar signs just so that we are able to sum the values in this column. We can get the average income. Remember, we have a task. We need to know the top 10 directors by average income. And we cannot do it like this until we clean this particular column. Again, you see the importance of setting goals for your analysis. You need to set goals for your analysis. When you have set goals, you will be able to know how to clean your data. Now that I know that, okay, I need to sum my income, I need to know the total average income. That means I need to eradicate these dollar signs and just have strictly numbers all through. All right. And then we have votes. These votes, if you look at it, if you just look at it once, you think that, okay, all of these are just numbers. But I'm saying something. You can see that in these votes, we have ABC too. So these votes are supposed to be either in thousands or in millions. But then I am saying, okay, so let us check the values together. All right. So I can see 1.007.598, 1.014.218. Now, what's is this one is this an IP address or what exactly it is? So it is supposed to be figures. So we're going to see how to clean this very soon. All right. So we need to have all of these values as figures. Okay, so that we can get the total votes. All right. Okay, so let me cancel this. Then we have score. Then we have score. Okay. So usually our scores are supposed to be maybe 9.0, 5.2, 2.5, maybe 0. But then I'm seeing plus 8.7. What is plus 8.7? You can see that when extracting data from websites, you will always encounter these kind of issues. So anytime you are given a task that, okay, I need you to go and get data from so and so websites, just prepare your mind that you're going to meet some things. You're going to meet inaccuracies in your data. And then you need to transform and clean them to get your data in the desired shape. All right. So we're going to see how to clean all of this dirtiness very soon. So I hope we are all learning a lot. I hope we are all learning. If you are learning, put fire in the chat. Let us see your fire in the chat. All right. So put fire in the chat if you are learning something. Okay. So now let us begin. I'm going to go back to my home tab. All right. So I'm going to go back to my home tab. Now I'm going to begin from the release year, or let's see. Let me begin from country, because country will be, it's easier to clean. So let me begin from the country column. So again, I'm going to click on the drop down. We have Brazil, we have Denmark, France, Germany, India, Iran, Italy, Italy 1. We are supposed to have one Italy, remember. So now let's do it step by step. Don't rush. In data cleaning, you do not rush. Okay, in data cleaning, you do not rush. Take your time. Even though the Power Query editor makes it fast for you to clean your data, take your time. If you rush it, you will miss step that you're not supposed to miss. Okay, so in data cleaning, you do not rush. You take your time. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do now is we're going to replace we are going to replace Italy 1 with Italy. We only have one Italy. So there's no need for Italy 1. All right. So we're going to replace Italy 1 with Italy. So I'm going to come here to country. I'll right click on it. The reason why I love Power BI or Power Query is because everything is just click, you right click, you click, click, click. Once you click and click and click, you are done. No long stress. No need to do too much paparazzi. All right. So I'll right click on the country header and then I'll go to replace value. Remember, I want to replace Italy 1 with Italy. Okay, so I'm going to click on replace values. Okay, so the value that, and again, okay, so before I do this, there is something that I want to do. There is something I want to do, because there are sometimes when your data will come with extra spacing in your data, like multiple space in between the characters of your values. So I want to make sure that I do not have extra spacing. I just want to make sure to avoid story that before I will start asking myself, well, why do I have error? All right, so I'm going to come here and let me just press Ctrl A to select everything. And then I will right click on any of the columns. Okay, I'll right click on any of the columns and then I will go to transform and then I will go to trim. All right, so I'm going to click on trim. So when I click on trim, I am sure that I do not have any place that needs to be trimmed, any place that have extra space, and I don't want to waste time. All right. So now let us begin. So back to country, I'll right click, go to replace values. And the value I want to replace is Italy 1. Whenever you are doing this, make sure that you type in the value exactly the way it is in your column. In our column, Italy does not begin with small letter I. It begins with uppercase I. So you have to make sure that it is exactly the same way. If not, nothing will replace. All right, so we have Italy 1. I want to replace it with Italy. Okay, so I'll press OK. So let us check if that worked. All right, so you see, we only have one Italy. We have done something now. All right, so the next one is New Zealand. We have New Zealand, we have New Zealand, we have New Zealand. The correct one is New Zealand. Before you go and submit report and they're asking you, Peter or anybody, which one is New Zealand? When did we have New Zealand in this word? All right, so I'm going to right click. So the first word I'm going to be replacing is New Zealand with New Zealand. So I'm going to right click on the country. I'll right click and then I'll go to replace values. And then I'll say new, again, type in the words exactly the way they are in the column. So I'll say New Zealand, replace with New Zealand. Okay, so New Zealand. After that, we have New Zealand. Okay, so I will say New Zealand, replace with New Zealand. Okay. So let us check. So we only have one New Zealand, okay? So now moving on, we have US, US dot, and USA. I want everything to be USA, okay? So anywhere there is US. Okay, so first of all, let's see, all right. So I'm going to right click, go to replace values, and then I will say anywhere there is US dot, let's start with US dot, replace it with USA. Then okay. Then the next one is, okay, so the next one is US. So anywhere there is US, replace with USA. So something happened. So let's check. So fine. All right, so fine. We have two now. We have USA and USAA. So that's because there is US in USA. And when we did replace with USA, it replaced the US in USA with USA. So now we have USAA. So we're going to replace USAA with USA. Okay, so USAA replaced with USA. Okay, so let us check what else do we need to clean. Okay, so we are done. All right, so West Germany, I didn't even see this guy. So we're going to replace West Germany with Germany. All right, so I'm going to right click on it, go to replace values, and then I'll say replace West Germany with Germany. Then click on OK. All right, so we are done with that. Okay, so we are done with that. Let us go to the dates because this date will take our time. I'm not going to lie to you. This date will take our time. So let us first of all check. Okay. All right, so we have things that we need to do. Okay. All right, so we need to make sure that our data is standardized. You can see that
the year, the month, the day, like the correct ones, they are separated by they're separated by they're separated by hyphen. So we need to ensure that all others are also separated by hyphen. So anywhere there is slash, we know that, okay, date sometimes can be separated by slash, all right? But anywhere there is slash, we are going to put in hyphen, okay? And anywhere there is space, like this particular one, 09 space 21 space space 1972. This is actually month, day, and year. We are going to have error. So we need to change it into day, month, year, or year, month, day. Okay. So now the first thing that I'm going to do is replace the slash. Anywhere there's slash, there's space in between the month, year, day. I'm going to replace them with hyphen so that we have a uniform separator. All right, so I'll right click on the column, then go to replace values. And then, all right, so anywhere there's slash, replace with hyphen. Okay. We're not done. Anywhere there is a space, even your space, I'm just going to put in a space in this, let me backspace. I'm going to put in a space here. So anywhere there is space, I'll replace with hyphen. So you can see that we are getting somewhere. Some things are changing. Okay. So what else do we need to do? Let me check. All right. Okay. So now we are going somewhere. This is just the first. We're actually going somewhere. So let us start with these ones at the bottom, 23rd of December, 1966. So that should be, December is the 12th month. So that should be 1966 hyphen 12 hyphen 23. Okay. So we need to replace it. All right. So I'm going to right click, go to replace values. Okay. So before I do that, so this is it here, 23rd of December, 1966. I'm just going to click on it, all right? I don't want to waste too much time. Then I'm going to come to the bottom here and copy what I have. Then go back to the column header, right? Click on it and go to replace values. And then I will paste. Remember, you have to, the value that you are finding must be the same with the one in your column. If not, nothing will happen. So I'm going to replace it with 1966 hyphen 12, which is December, hyphen 23, which is the day. And then I'll click on OK. So we are done with that. All right. So let's see. Okay. So I have the 6th of March. Let me come here to the filter. So I just want this one because I want to copy the entire thing. So I'm going to come here, select it, copy. So I'll just cancel this filtered step, all right? And right click on the header again, replace values, paste what I'm looking for, and then the year is 1951. So Marzo means March. All right, Marzo means March. But let's say you don't know. Like I said, do not always assume. Please go to Google and check. Go to Google and check, what does Marzo mean? All right, so this is my Google. So I can just come here and say meaning of Marzo. So Marzo means March in Italian. All right. So you have to be sure because it's possible Marzo can mean May. So you need to be sure. All right. So Marzo means March, and March is the 3rd month. So this is going to be 03-6, the 6th of Marzo, year 1951. Okay, not 6, 06 or 06. All right. So let us see. What else do we need to clean? Okay, so we have 22-Feb-04. So this means that this is the 22nd of February 2004. So I'm going to replace that with the correct standard. All right. So I'm going to replace that with the correct standard. So right click, go to replace. All right. So I need to check this thing again. So I need to be sure. So we have 22-February 04. Okay. So right click, replace 22 hyphen hyphen Feb, okay, Feb 04. So I'm going to replace it. 04 is 2004. So 2004 hyphen February is the second month, 02 hyphen 22. All right. Then okay. Okay, so let us see what next that we need to do. Okay, so we're done with that. Then we have 23-07-2008. So there's a double hyphen here. We need to replace that. Okay, so I'm just going to come back here, right click, replace. Like I said, you have to take your time. Don't rush it. All right. So 23-07-2008. I want to replace it as 2008 hyphen 07. The seventh month is July, then 23 hyphen 23. Okay. So we are done with that. Let's see. Okay, so then we have 21-11-46. So this actually means the 21st of November, 1946. So you can see the reason why we need to standardize this form, this particular column, so that we have a uniform standard, a uniform or a consistent appearance in our column. All right, so we're going to replace this now. So 21-11-46, that will be, so replace value 21-11-46. So this will be 1946-11-21. Then okay. All right. All right, so okay. So please keep your comments coming in. Keep your comments coming in. All right, so let us continue. All right, so we have 01-1603, 01-1603. So this means the 16th of January 2003, but it was written this way, or it was extracted this way. So 01-1603. Let's replace that. So 01-16-03. This is 2003-01, which is January-16. Okay, so like I said, we are really going to have issues with this date column. So we have 09-21-1972. So this should actually be 21-09-1972. So we're going to replace that. So 09-21-1972 replaced with 1972-09-21. Okay, so we're almost done with this column. It can take time sometimes. All right. So we have 10-29-99. This is actually the 29th of the 10th month, which is October 1999. So 10-29-99. Let's replace that. 10-29-99. It's 1999-10-29. All right, so let us see. So this is actually the 18th month of, sorry, not the 18th month, the 18th day in November 1976. So this one is okay. We don't need to change that. So let us see what else we need to change. Let us see what else we need to change. Okay, so I think, okay, so I'm seeing something here. So let us see what else we need to change actually. Okay. All right, so now let us try to change this back to a date and see what happens. So we have 2% errors. Now, where are the errors coming from? I need to know. So we have the errors here. So the movie title is Scarface. Now let us check. Why is this thing giving us error? It is not the time that you remove the errors, all right? So I'm going to cancel the step that I just took. Okay. All right. So now we have Scarface and I think that was in row 23. Okay, let's see. All right, so we have Scarface and Taxi Drivers as the movie title giving us errors. Now let us see. I'm saying 1984-02-34. There is no month in the year that has 34 days. There is no month, so that's an error. And then we have 1976-13. This is for Taxi Driver, and 1976-13, and then 24. We don't have a 13th month. No, we don't have a 13th month. So we need to now check. Remember, I said you need to correct these values. All right. So how do you do that? I can just quickly go to my browser and then type in Scarface, because now I need to get the correct year, the correct date it was released. So Scarface. So now let us check the info. So the release date for Scarface from here is the 9th of December, 1983. The 9th of December, 1983. So I'm just going to come back to Power Query and replace that. So right click. Okay, so let me check the values first of all. So for Scarface, we have 1984, 02, and then 34. So replace values. Okay, so we have 1984, 02, 34. 1984-02-34, which is wrong. And from here, from Google, we have 1983, 12, 9. That is December and 9. So 1983-12-09. So we are done with that. We are done with Scarface. So the next is Taxi Driver. We have 1976. I'm just going to check for Taxi Driver. All right. So Taxi Driver was released February 8th, 1976. But what do we have here? We have, okay, so this is actually very wrong. Although the year is correct, but the month and the day is wrong. So 1976, 13, 24. We are going to replace that. 1976 hyphen 13 hyphen 24. Okay, so this will be replaced with 1976-02 because it was released in February 028 on the 8th February, 8th of February. So 0208. Okay. So now let us change this now to a date and see what this gives us. All right, so you see, we are free of errors. Like I said, take your time. Okay, take your time. All right. So if you are learning something, please drop it in the comments. Let us know. Drop it in the comments. Let us know. Drop it in the comments. Let us know. Okay, so I have a question here. Please, I also have a question. What if the date is written in 03/07/2024? Okay, so how do we know which is the month and day in order to ensure accuracy? So like what I just did now, you can just quickly confirm. Okay, like I said, data cleaning takes time. It's because this is just this master class should not be more than 4 or should not be more than 3 hours. All right. So if you want to do your job very well, you have to confirm, just like what I did here. I went to the internet to confirm. I don't go and submit what I don't know and then get a query. Do you understand me? All right. So thank you very much for those that have joined, for those that are still joining. Okay, so let us continue. All right. So we have the duration column. Okay, so we have the duration column. Now let us see what we need to clean. We have hyphen. Now I want to see that anywhere there is hyphen, it should be 0. 0 means that the duration of that movie was not recorded. Okay, so that we have a uniform. I want to get the average duration, and I cannot get average when there is hyphen here. All right, and I cannot get average where there is hyphen here. So now the first thing I'm going to do is replace the hyphens with 0. All right, so I'm going to replace the hyphens with 0. So when you see, when you guys see beautiful dashboards, beautiful reports, do you ever ask yourself, how does this thing come about? It's possible the person spent days and weeks cleaning the data, and everybody will start shouting, wow, 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 you have a beautiful report, you have a beautiful this, but this is the process, okay? This is the process. Before you can get that report, you need to clean and transform your data, all right? So I'm going to replace hyphen with 0. So that's the first thing. And then I have blanks also. I'm going to replace the blanks with 0. Anywhere there is blank, it means that it was not recorded. And then when you are doing this, if you're asked, okay, why did you replace this particular thing with 0? And then you can explain yourself. The reason why I did that was because it wasn't recorded. And in order for me to be able to do my calculation, to do my aggregation, I needed to take this particular step. All right. Whenever you're cleaning, you need to also note down the reason why you're cleaning it. All right. So I'm going to right click, replace values, and then blank. So for blank, I don't need to put in space or anything. I'll just leave this thing as blank and come down and put in 0. So I'm going to replace the blanks with 0. All right. So what else do I need to replace? I need to replace, so anywhere I saw one, yeah, so 178C, I'm going to replace it with 178. Okay. So 178C, I'll replace with 178. So anywhere I have none, I can see none. I'm going to replace none. NAN, I'm going to replace it with 0. Okay. So I can also see INF. I don't know what that means. That is an error. So I'm going to replace INF with 0. So INF replace with 0. Make sure you don't replace with O. All right. So then the next one is null. I can see null. I'm going to replace null. So null replace with 0. All right. So now let us check. What else do I need to replace? I have not applicable. I'm going to replace it with 0. All right. So I'm going to come down here and replace not applicable with 0 and then click OK. So now let me try to change this data type now from text, which is ABC, to whole number. All right, so you see I am free of errors. I do not have error. Now let us move on to content rating. All right, so let us move on to content rating. So what do I need to clean in this content rating column? Because it's actually very important in our analysis. So we have approved, not rated, unrated. All of these, not rated, so not rated, approved, unrated. I'm going to replace all of them with not applicable. All right, so not applicable means you do not know what is there. Okay, so I'm going to say right click, replace values. I'll start with unrated. I'll replace unrated with not applicable. Okay, and then right click. I'll go to replace values and then not rated. With not applicable. Okay, right click again, replace values. We have approved. I don't know what approved means. I've never seen that in any rating. So approved, I'll replace it with not applicable. Okay, so let us see what else. All right, so we have this NA, which also means not applicable, but we need to be clear in our detailing. So I'm going to replace that also with not applicable. Okay, N/A with not applicable. So we're almost done with this data cleaning. All right, so you can see cleaning your data sets can take a lot of time. It can really take a lot of time. All right, so now let us check if we are done. All right, so we have G not applicable, PG, PG-13, and rated. Okay, so let us move on. All right, so what else do we need to clean? We have the income. You can see that we're almost done with the cleaning. All right, so we have the income. So we need to take out this dollar sign to be able to aggregate this column. So I'm going to right click, replace values. So anywhere there is dollar, so I'm going to add a space because after the dollar, there's a space. I'm going to replace it with blank. That is nothing. I don't want anything to be there. So I'll click on OK. Okay. So now let me try to, all right, so let me try to turn this now into a whole number and see if we're going to get error. So I have 1% error and the error is coming from row 4. So I'm just going to cancel this step and then check why I am having error. So I can see 408. All right. So this is not 40, this is 408. So this is 408. So we need to replace anywhere there is O in our values. It means it is 0. All right. So I'm going to right click and then go to replace values. And I will say that anywhere you see the value O, replace it with 0 and then OK. All right, so now let me try to change this back into a whole number. So you see that now everything is valid. There's no more error. So let's move on to the votes. Again, for the votes, we would need to remove these pointations that we see here. So I'm going to replace anywhere there's dots. I'll replace it with blank. All right, so I'm going to right click, go to replace values. I know you'd ask, is it only replace values that we're going to be doing? No, there are also other things that you can do. All right, so I'm going to put in the points and then I'm going to replace it with blank, then okay. Okay, so let me try to change this to a whole number, okay, because we need to get the total votes. All right, so now it works. It works. All right, so now if you do not know why you need to clean your data, you will spend time. Like this, I am even fast. If you do not know why you need to clean your data or what you need to clean, you will spend a lot of time. I've seen people that it took them weeks, to clean something that would be very, very simple to do if you have an understanding. And then we have score. Okay. So I'm going to do this step by step. All right. So we have plus, plus. So basically, anywhere we see plus, it is automatically blank. So I'm going to replace the plus. So anywhere there is plus, let it be blank. I'm not going to put anything in the replace with. So, okay. And then let us see what else we need to do. So we have 8. So anywhere there is E-0, it should be blank. It's not supposed to be there. Okay. So comma, replace values, E-0, replace with blank. Okay. So again, let me appreciate you guys that are still here. I know it is not easy to sit down for more than 1 hour learning, but trust me, if you are here till the end, you are going to leave here with so much knowledge, so much knowledge that you even didn't know that you would need. All right. So let us continue. So we have 8. Okay. So anywhere there is F, I can see alphabets. Okay. So anywhere there is F, I'll replace it with 0. Right. Like I said, there are other methods, there are other ways. Okay. So anywhere there is F, I'll replace it with blank, not 0. So blank. Okay. And then I can see comma. Our scores are supposed to be either 8 points this or just the number, nothing like a comma. So anywhere there is comma, I'll replace it with a point. Anywhere there is comma, I'll replace it with a point. So replace value. Anywhere there is comma, let it be, okay, so let it be points. All right, so let us check. What else do we need to remove? What else do we need to clean? Okay. So I can see 8.7 points. So this would give us issue. And I can also see double pointation. All right, so anywhere we have double pointation, I'm just going to replace it with 1 point. Okay, so anywhere there's double pointation, I'll replace it with points. Okay. Trust me, by the time we have a clean data set, even you yourself, you'll be happy because then you'll be able to visualize your reports faster. So let us see what else needs to be done. All right, so we have 8.7 points. I'm going to replace that with 8.7. So 8.7 points. Replace with 8.7. So if you're still here, don't go anywhere. We have a dashboard, a beautiful, insightful dashboard to build that will blow your mind. Okay, so still thank you for staying till this time. We really, really, really appreciate you for joining. All right. So now I'm going to change this into decimal. So not whole number. Remember, a whole number is a whole number. Whole number can be 5, can be 100. But anytime your values have pointations, replace with a decimal. So I'm going to replace with decimal number. I'll change it to a decimal number. Okay, so I'm having 1% error, and this error is coming from row 11. Oh, wow. Okay. So I can see 8. Oh, 8:8. Okay, so we need to replace that. Anywhere there is a colon, anywhere there's a colon in our data or in our, yeah, so I'm going to cancel this step and go back to the initial. So I'm going to right click and go to replace value. Anywhere there is colon, replace it with points. Okay, so okay. All right, so I'm going to change this back to decimal. So I hope we're all learning. I hope we are all learning. I hope we are all, if you are learning, let us know in the comments. Okay, let us know in the comments that you are learning. All right, so ginger us. As we are gingering you, also ginger us. Okay, so now we are done with our cleaning. Now we are done with our cleaning. We are done with our cleaning. So one thing that I need to do now is to just rename some of the rename some of the headers, like the origin title. I can see the E. I don't like the way the E is, so I'm just going to erase that and put in my normal E. Then we have genre. I'm going to also just, it's very easy to rename. All right, so just double click on the header. Okay, and you can rename it the way you want. Then you press the enter key on your keyboard. All right, so we are done. We are done with this. We are done with this. Now we need to know there's a visualization task that we need to do, which is to know the popular genres. All right. So how can we do that? if we are having drama is appearing here, drama is with crime. How do we now know the number of times that drama appeared? We will not be able to do that. All right, we'll not be able to do that. But before we reach there, I just want to let you know that we'll be starting our July cohort on the 13th of July. All right, and you are going to learn a lot, not just Power BI. You know that there's Power Query in Excel. Yes, there's Power Query in Excel. And if you are going into data science, you can also do predictive analysis in Power BI, in Microsoft Excel. You can learn SQL. So you're going to learn a lot of things. How to use ChatGPT for data analytics. Remember, the world is going AI. And AI, although AI will not take your job, but you need to know how to use it and stand out among the rest. And also, we'll be showing you how to optimize your Upwork and your LinkedIn. If your LinkedIn is still stagnant, I don't know what people are getting jobs on LinkedIn. What are you doing? All right. So if your LinkedIn is still stagnant, please and please and please make sure that you keep our July quotes in mind. So don't go anywhere. I'm still here. All right. So I want to start visualizing. Okay. I want to start visualizing. Before we come back to the genre and we'll do what we want to do on the genre, I want to start visualizing. All right. So I'm going to close and apply. All right. So whenever you are in Power BI and you are done with your data cleaning, you will close and apply. Okay. So you have to close and apply to save your changes. All right. So that's what we're going to do now. Okay. And then we're going to wait for it to load. Okay. I was supposed to change this name because our data is no more a messy data. It is now a cleaned data set. It is no more a messy data, but let's just leave it like that. All right. Okay, so I'm going to open this image to show us what we'll be doing. So from here, it will guide us, all right? It will guide us. Okay. So this is the data set. These are the columns and everything. When I come to my data view or my table view, I'll be able to see just the way it is supposed to be structured and clean. All right. We can see our here now. Our release year, our release date, everything is arranged. There is no more error. Now we can visualize with ease. Okay. So let me go back to the image. All right. So we have card visuals at the top. So these card visuals give you like a summary of that you're going to show to your audience, to your stakeholders, to your employers, or anybody who is going to be looking at your visualization. All right, so we have content, which is the movie. We have a total of 100. We have directors, 64. We have the total votes. You see that I'm able to calculate the total votes. If I did not clean, I will not be able to. Then we have genres. We have 20. How do I know that there is 20 genres? When here in the data, I am seeing that the genre crime is together with drama, action is together. So how do I know? Very soon you know how to do that. Then we have the average duration in minutes. So on an average, from these 100 movies, we have that on an average, their duration is 135 minutes, which is 2 hours plus. Then we have average score, we have average income. So the average score from all the movies is 8.24, which is a good score. Then we have the average income, which is $299 million. Okay, so let us see how we can get these card visuals. So first of all, I'm going to be creating the measures needed. All right, the measures needed for this. Okay, so I'm going to come back to Power BI and go to my report view. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do, let me expand this. So the first thing I'm going to do is come here, my home tab, and click on enter data. I like separating my measures. So measures are like calculations that you are going to need, like total income, average income, total this, maximum this. So all of those are your measures. They are calculated measures. Okay. So I like to separate my measures from my table. so that I am not confused, so that I know where to go to get my measures. So I'll call this measure table, and then I'll click on load. I hope we are learning a lot. I hope we are all learning. If you are learning, let us know. Again, let us know. All right. So when I'm done with that, it is going to appear here in the data pane, like what you see here. You can see the measures. Okay. So I'm just going to expand it. We have an empty column. We don't need that. But let me create my first measure. My first measure is going to be total content. So I'm going to right click on the measure and then click on new measure. Okay, so this measure name, I will say this name is content. Okay, so content. So content is equal to how many content do we have? So I want to count our movies. Okay, so I'm going to count the movie ID. All right, so each movie with their own movie ID. So it makes sense to count the movie ID. So I'm going to locate the movie ID, which is IMDb title ID. And then I'm going to press enter so that it saves. Okay, so you can see the contents here. It has been created. So I'm going to remove this empty column by coming here and clicking on these three dots and then delete from model. Okay, so now the next measure I want to create is the number of directors. The number of directors. Now you might be wondering, how do I know which function to use to calculate? How do I know? So please make sure that you register for our July cohort. You know better how to know the functions to use whenever you are calculating your measures. All right, so I'm going to right click on the measure, then click on new measure. And then I'll name this measure directors. So I want to get the number of directors. Now I can't use count, right? Because if I use count, I am going to see, okay, so before I do this, because you might be wondering, how do we now know what you have created? How do we know what you have created? So like I said, this is a card visual. This is a card visual. So I'm going to put in my card visual. So I'll come here and select this card visual, card new. Okay. I'll select that card visual. Let me just close this pane. Okay. Now I'm going to select content. So you can see here that we have 100. All right. So that is how you will know that, okay, what you have done, you can see it. So now I'm going to create another measure, which is director. So new measure. So new measure director or directors is equal to distinct count. Before we use count, now we're using distinct count because we want to know the distinct number of directors. Because it's possible a director has directed over 10 movies in this data. So we cannot count that director 10 times. No, we only have to count it once. That is the reason for distinct count. So I'm going to use the distinct count on the director column. I'll just select that. Okay, and then I'll select it again. So you can see we have 64. The next one is total votes. So we'll come back to general, like I said. So the next one is total votes. I'm going to right click, new measure. And then I'll say total votes. How many votes in total do we have? So total vote is equal to sum of the vote column. We are summing all the values in the vote column. That is how to get total. All right. So I'll select this. Okay, so I'll select this. We have 83 million. So there's one thing that I need to do. I'll go to format your visual. Okay, before that, let me just create all of the measures that I'll need. Then average duration, average score, and average income. All right, so I'm going to right click, go to new measure. New measure, we have average duration. So average duration is equal to, as the name says, average. So you're going to use the average function. You see how easy it is, all right? So you're going to use the average function, and we're going to go to the duration column. We'll select that, and then we'll close it. So average duration. All right, so I'm going to select this. So now if you notice, you can't find it here. That is because this is limited. So I'm going to go to the format your visual pane, go to layouts, and then you can see that the maximum cards shown is 3. But we have about 7 cards that we want to show. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to increase this to, let's say, 8. All right, so when I increase it, you can see now that we have what we need to have. Then I'm going to go to the colored values and just decrease the font size to 30. All right, so I'm just going to decrease the font size to 30. And then I'm going to expand this. The next one is average income. Average income. So average income. So average income is equal to same method, average. Then we're going to look for the income column. So you can see that now you're not just only learning the data cleaning and transformation. We're also doing little visualization. All right, so you are going to learn a lot. And I'm sure that we have already learned a lot. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate you guys. So let us continue. All right, so average income. And then we have the average score. So I'll select this average income and then average score. All right, so average score. So average score is equal to average. We're going to use the average function on the score column to get the average score. All right, then I am going to select it. So I'm just going to reduce this. Okay, I'm going to reduce this. Okay. And all right, so I'm going to click out. Now, so that we are on track, I am going to come back to my slide. You can see that the canvas size is 900 in height and 15 in width. So I'm going to change the canvas size. You can see I'm not clicking on any visual. All right, so I'm going to go to the format your report page in Power BI. Go to the canvas settings, change the type to custom. And then the height is 900. Okay, and the width is 15. Okay, 15. All right, so we are done with this. Now I'm going to change the background, okay? The background is an image. So I have the image already, so I'm just going to click on browse and select this beautiful background that I have here, then click open. So you can see that you can't see it yet because the transparency is 100. I'm going to set the transparency to 0. And this, I want it to cover my entire canvas. So I'm going to change the image fit from normal to fill. All right. So after that, we can see that the background is not that light. That is because there's a shape covering it. Okay, there's a shape covering it. Like you see here, the background cover is, this is the color code for the background cover, which is black. All right, and the transparency is 30%. I'm just going to do that quickly. Okay. So I'm going to come to insert. You can insert shapes in Power BI. All right. So I'm going to come to insert, then go to the shapes and insert my rectangle. So my rectangle is blue, automatic blue. I'm going to change it because I don't want blue. I'll go to style, change the fill color to this black. So this black, when you check it and you go to more colors, it is 000. All right. So the transparency is 30% because I still want to see my beautiful background a little bit. All right. So I'm going to turn off the border line. I don't need that. All right. And then I'm just going to make sure that it covers the entire canvas. Okay, so you can see that my card is now behind this shape. So I'm going to send this shape to the back of the card by going to the Format tab, and then I'll click on Send to Back. All right, so I'll click outside my Canva. So now we have this. All right. Okay. So the cards. All right, so the cards, I'm going to change the cards. Okay, so before that, let me bring in my placeholders for the cards and the shapes. We have 4 visuals here, and then we have a placeholder for the cards. So I'm going to bring in 4 shapes. Okay, so I'm going to insert again and insert my shape, a rectangle. So I'm using these slides for guide, okay? So the placeholder is still black, but the transparency is set to 62. It has a shadow. I'm just quickly going to copy this shadow. All right, so all these things are what beautifies. You don't just want to go and submit a report that is not, appealing. All right, so I'm going to change the fill color to black, set the transparency to 30, turn off the border, and then I'm going to turn on my shadow. All right, then I'll change the color. I'm just going to go to more colors and paste in the color code I just copied. Okay. All right, so what do we have as the blur? The blur is 20%, so we are good to go. All right, so I'm going to turn off. I'll go to general now and I'll turn off the background from this card visual. We don't need it. Okay, so I'll turn off the background. Okay. And then I'll bring this card here. Okay. So I want to make sure that it is exactly the same way it is in our image. Okay. So let us compare and contrast. All right. Okay, so we are good to go. Okay, so I want to send this shape to the back now so that it's not covering our cards. Okay. And then I am just going to copy. Okay. All right, so I'll send this to the back too. All right, so I'm just going to copy this shape. Okay, so this shape, I'm not done yet. The shadow is not giving me what I want. So I'll set the position to be center. All right. So all of these things, there's so many things to learn in Power BI. How do you make your report stand out? So there's so many things to learn in Power BI. So I'm going to just bring this shape to the top here. Okay, so that it is in the same line, and then I'll just expand this a little bit. And then I'll come here. I'll go to the cards. I'll turn off the background. I'll turn off the border, and then I will give it an accent bar that separates the measure. All right. Okay. So now we can see that the values are all dark. I'm going to change the color. All right, so I'll change the color. So let's see what we have here in the color. All right. So I'll change the color and also change the labels. That is the title of our cards. So they are called labels. I have the color code here. So this is the card label. So this is the card label. Go to more colors and paste in the label. Beautiful. All right. Okay, so I'm going to just adjust this a little bit. I know. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much for still being here. You guys are the real Odogu. Okay, so I'm going to copy and paste all of these card visuals. All right, so we have four visualizations that we are trying to create now. 4 visualizations that we're trying to create. All right. Okay, so that is what I'm going to do. I'll just make sure that they are like that, like in the visual. Okay, let's see. All right. Let us adjust this a bit. Then I'll Control C and Control V to paste. Okay. Yes, I'm just going to expand this a little bit. Yep. Okay. Let's see. All right, so we have 2 more placeholders remaining. So in case, I don't know if you've ever used Power BI before, and you always wonder, how do people do their Canva? How do they set it? Well, for some of us, we just do everything in Power BI. There's no need for me to go to another application when I can beautify my visualization here in Power BI. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to align all of this. Okay. All right, so we are done with that. Now let's get to the good part, to the main part, which is the visualization. So we're going to start with the rating. Okay, want to know, like the question says, want to know what are the most common content ratings for movies? What's the proportion of content ratings or of the content ratings in the data? So for proportion, always use a donut chart or a pie chart. It just makes it makes more sense when you do it that way. Because anything proportion, anything percentage is talking about part of a whole, talking about, you know, part of a whole, actually. So I'm going to select a donut chart here. So I'm just going to bring this donut chart here. And then in my donut chart, I am going to, all right. So my values is going to be my content measure. All right. So we have 100 contents. So that's going to be my values. And then my rating, my content rating is going to be in the details. Okay. So I'm going to come here and to go to general, turn off the background, it's not needed. Okay. So go back to visual. And then I'll change the title from content. Okay, first of all, I'll change the color. Okay, so I'll still come back here to my color hue. And this is the color of my visual title. I have it here. All right, so I'll come to text color of my title, then change it. Okay, and my title is ratings. All right, so ratings. You need to make sure that your titles are also well imputed. Okay. Then I'll go to the slices. I need to change the color. All right. So first of all, I'm going to turn off this not applicable. Let me first of all change the detail labels. I want to change the color to something that we can see. You need to make sure whenever you're creating something, make sure that it's something that your audience can see. Don't go and put in black and do not be asking you, what is here? So please, you need to always take note of that. Then the legend also, I'll turn off the title of the legend. And then the position of my legend, I want it to be bottom. All right, so I want it to be in the bottom center. Okay, bottom center. And then the text, I want the color to be this and also visible. All right, so you need to make sure that your texts are also visible. Okay. All right, so now the slices, the good part, we need to get these things colored. Your colors must be consistent. As your data are consistent, your color, everything, your theme must be consistent. Have a color that you are using, a consistent color. All right, so I'm going to turn off this not applicable, right? Because we only want to see the ones that are applicable. So I'll go to filters and then go to content rating. I will expand it and I will select all and unselect the not applicable. You can see how easy it is to visualize our data now that we have cleaned it. So this is the benefits of cleaning your data. All right, so we have the highest. We'll start from the highest. The highest here is R. So I'm going to come here to my color hue. So we're following this color. All right, so I'll come to R. and I'll change the color. All right. So I'll come to PG13, that is the second highest, and I'll select this color here and paste it. Then I'll come to PG. We have this. I'll copy and I'll paste. Then the last one, we're going to have this. You can see that the colors are all distinct, okay? So even if they are similar, but they are all distinct. So I'll come here and I'll paste what I just copied. All right, so we are done with this part. Okay, we are done with this part. Now let us move on. So we have here the top 10 highest grossing movies. I can see Avengers. Even me, I watched Avengers. I can see Avengers. So we have here the top 10 highest grossing movies. So how do we do that here in Power BI? I am going to input a column or a stacked bar chart. All right. And then I'm just going to expand it.
Hi, Sandra.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Please kindly mute that person. Then another thing I want to say, I think
have
we
a
can move.
co-host here. I have
No,
a co-host here.
this here is speaking, Sandra.
Okay. All right. So
Kindly
please,
make
if
me
you're here,
co-host
please mute
again.
your mic.
Sandra, please can we move to the presentation? If time permits us, we come back to this.
Okay, the presentation. All right, so please, Miss Sherry, please, we're almost done with this. All right, so we'll move to that very soon. Okay, we'll move to that very soon. We're almost done with this actually. So move to that very, I know that time is going, right? But we're all here to learn. Please, we're all here to learn. All right. Okay, so we're almost done with this. All right. So like I said, thank you very much for those that have stayed till now. It is not easy sitting down for hours and learning. Like I said, you're going to leave here with a lot of knowledge. All right. And then you can also watch the recordings. Okay. So we have the top 10 highest grossing movies. We have the top 10 highest grossing movies. So let's see how to do that quickly so that we can all go back to what we were doing before the meeting. All right. Top 10 highest grossing movies. I'm going to use, okay, so I didn't calculate the total income. So I'm going to do that now. All right, so I'm going to create a new measure to calculate the total income. All right, so I'll call this total income. We have average income, so I'll call this total income. Total income is equal to using the same sum on the income column because we want to get the sum of the values in that column. All right. Okay, so let us move back to this. So now the total income is going to be on my x-axis. Then the y-axis, we're going to have the movie title. All right, so that is the original title. So I'm just going to quickly come here to my formatting and turn off the titles from both the y-axis and the x-axis. All right. And then I'm going to turn off the background because we don't need that. Okay. Also, I'll turn off the grid lines. They are not needed. Okay. And then I'm going to turn off the x-axis values because I want to put my data labels. All right. And then I'm just going to, okay, so I'm going to make my labels visible. I'll give them colors. Okay, so now I can see what I have there. Okay. And then on my y-axis, I am going to do this and also increase the size so that it is visible. People can see. All right. We don't want to have a situation whereby they'll be straining their eyes to see what is there. So I will also expand this, and then I'll switch the axis position so that we can have something like this. Okay. And then my title, I'm going to change the color of my title to our standard color, the one that we've been using. Okay, which is not that. Okay, so my title color, let me go back and copy it. All right. All right, so let me go back and put it back there. So this is my title color. Okay. All right, then I'm going to change the bar, the color of the bars. Okay, so now this makes more sense. But now the question is, or the task is to get the top 10. So I'm going to come here to filters, open the filters, go to original title, and then from the filter type, I'll change it to top 10. So I'll put in 10. And then I'll bring my total income into by value and apply filter. So now we have the top 10. You see, easy. All right, easy. So I'm going to copy this and paste it because I want to do the same thing for directors now. Okay, so because I'm going to do for directors, I'm going to remove the original title from the y-axis and put in directors. Okay. Then I'll go to the filter. The filter is still affecting the original title. So I'll just cancel this filter. Let's start from the beginning. So I'm going to go to the director filter and change it from basic filtering to top N, then 10, and then total income, apply filter. Okay, so now we have this. Now we have this. All right, like I said, if you want to know more, just make sure that you register for our next course. You register for our July course. All of this and more, you are going to learn it. What you need to stand out in your data career, what you need to begin your journey as a data analyst, as a data scientist, a data engineer. Once you register for this course, we are going to give all this to you. All right. So please, there is a registration link that my colleague is passing in the chat. Just make sure that you register. You click on that link and you put in your details. All right. So let us proceed. Then we have the monthly release. Okay, so before we do that, the title, we need to change it. Okay, so we need to make sure that the title is synced, is aligned with this. All right. So we have top 10 highest grossing movies. Okay, so we have top 10 highest grossing movies. I'm just going to change the title. Now to top 10 highest grossing movies. All right. Then also for the directors, top 10 directors by average movie income. All right. So we're going to change this. This is not the average income. Remember, we created average income measure. So this is the total income. I'll remove it and put in average. Okay. So average income. And then I'll go back to the filters. All right, so I'll go back to the filters, and instead of total income being the one filtering the directors, it's going to be average income, okay? And then I'll just apply this filter. Okay, so that we are not giving wrong information. Always confirm, always confirm. So moving on, we're going to change the title. All right, to top 10 directors by average movie income. Top 10 directors by average movie income. So remember, this is a free master class, so we will not be sharing with you everything. You cannot learn everything in a day. Okay, you cannot learn everything in a day. So if you want to learn more of this, again, our next cohort is coming on the 13th of July. All right. And I'm sure that you guys are having a great time. If you're having a great time, let us know in the comment. Let us know in the comment, and please fill the link that has been passed or that has been shared in the chat. All right, so we have a last visual here, which is the monthly release, where we have the movies and then the gross income for the month. All right, so we want to compare. So I'm going to bring in my combo chart, which is a line and stacked column chart. All right. So monthly release. We have our release. All right, so we have our release here. I'm just going to expand this from here and then expand the hierarchy. I'm going to put in the month on the x-axis. And then I'm going to select content to be the column. So I'm just going to turn off all of this. It's not needed. I'll come here. All right, so sorry about that. That was my network. Okay. All right, so I'll come back here and then go to the grid lines and turn it off. We don't need it. You can see now that we're making use of this release here, something that took us a lot of time to clean. So imagine if we didn't clean it, we will not be able to get this analysis. So this is one of the importance of cleaning your data, observing your data to see what needs to be cleaned. All right. So I'm just going to come here and turn off the titles. They are not needed. Turn off the titles and then change the color. And also increase the font size. Okay, so that they are visible. I'll go to the y-axis, I'll turn off the values and also turn off the title. Then I'll give it a data label. All right, so I'll give it a data label. I'll go to values and so I'm just going to turn off the background for this and give it a color. So let's see the color that we have here. Okay. All right. Then go to the general settings and change the color to our type to this color. And then we have monthly release as the title. Monthly release. All right. So we're not done. We still need the monthly, or we still need the income. All right. So I'm going to drag the income and drop it here in the y-axis, in the line y-axis. All right. So I'll bring the total income and drop it here in the line y-axis. Okay. So I'll go back here, go to legend, and then I'll change the color of my legend, okay, so that it is visible. And then I also need to change, so I'm going to increase the text so that people can see, yeah, so what this is all about. All right, so I'll go to my lines. I want to tweak this line a bit. So I'll say the join type, okay. So I'll say the interpolation should be smooth. Okay. And then I will turn off data labels for the line. All right, so I'm just going to turn it off. Yes. And also for the line, I am going to change the color for the line. So the color is our color yellow. Okay, then for the bars or columns, I'll change it to our gray color. All right, so you see, right? You see how easy it is to do. Initially, we could not have calculated this total income. We could not have gotten all of this. All of this that we're able to do here was as a result of us cleaning the data. All right. Okay, so let us proceed. Let us proceed. So we're going to add our slicers that will let us to filter our visual to give us the results that we need. We're still coming back to the genre. So let me go up here to add my year slicer. So let me go up here to add my year slicer. All right, so I'll come here and I'll select my slicer, which is this. Okay, so let me fit this to the page. So I'll select my year slicer and I'll select the year into the slicer. So you can see what we have here. So I'll just drag it to the top. And then I'll turn off the background. It's not needed. Okay. So the slicer header, I'll turn it off. I don't want that. Then the slider itself, I'll change the color to this color yellow that we have here. Okay. All right. So we'll be actually ending very soon. All right. So I'm going to come here to the values and then change the color to this that we have here and also increase the font size. Okay. All right. So let's see. Okay. Yes, I'm just adjusting this so that I'll be able to do that very well. Okay, so as you can see, we'll not be able to finish this today, all right? We'll not be able to finish this today, but like I said, if you want more of this, you know what to do. You know what to do, okay? We are going to be starting our July cohort on the 13th. So make sure that you keep this in mind. If you know somebody that needs this knowledge, that needs these skills, how can you clean your data? How can you transform your data? How can you visualize properly? How do you know the colors to combine? How do you know what to even analyze? All right, so make sure that you keep this cohort in mind as it will be starting on the 13th of next month. Okay, so we'll not be able to finish this like I said. So please, I hope we all had a great time. I hope we all had a great time. Let's see your comments. Let's see your comments. Let's see your comments. So if you've learned a lot, let us see in the chat. Let us see in the chat. Let us see in the chat. As you can see, Nigeria did not allow me to finish what I want to show you because I want to show you a lot of things, all right? I want to show you a lot of things, but as time would not let us, and also, all right, so let's see your comments. If you learned a lot, let us see your comments in the chat. And also, please fill that link that we have, on the chats, all right? All right, so if you have any questions, please, you can drop it in the chat and we'll just do well to respond to you. My colleague will also respond to you. So drop your questions in the chat. If you've learned a lot, drop your emojis, drop your thoughts in the chat and let us see, let us know. All right, so the recording will be available very soon on our YouTube channel. The recording will be available very soon. All right. So just head over to our YouTube channel. If you're not following us, please do. A lot of these contents have been dropped there and more. So you get to see all of these contents on our YouTube channel. Follow Amdo Analytics on YouTube. All right. Okay, guys, thank you very much for joining the call. Thank you for joining this meeting. Thank you for those that joined and stayed to the end, because I know that it is not easy to learn, to sit and learn for hours, but well done, you guys. Like I said, are the real Odogos. So till meet again next time, keep following us on LinkedIn. Keep following us on LinkedIn. And don't forget that our court is starting next month on the 13th. All right. So everybody, good night. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Hello, Sandra. Hello. Hello, Sandra.
Yeah, hello. Who am I speaking with, please?
Oh, this is Chinyere. So there's one of our students, I don't know, that's actually job. Donya, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, please, if you don't mind, please go ahead.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Thank you very much, Sandra, for an insightful presentation on data cleaning. I had to join. Well, just a brief introduction about myself. My name is Doinsola Aremodele. I am an alumni of Amdo Analytics. I joined the cohort last year, December. That was in 2023. And my cohort actually lasted from December up until April. And then I'm actually here to, I actually did join because for me, it's actually a learning process. The learning doesn't stop, the learning is continuous. I'm actually, talking from the United Kingdom. Basically, for me, my experience with Amdo Analytics has been fantastic. And for everybody that has actually been on this call, I think it's a privilege for you to have been able to join and been able to be a part of this masterclass event. I was also, once like this sometimes last year before I made up my decision as to what edtech company to join for me to be able to actually get what I want as regards transitioning into data analytics. And I must say, coming into Amdo Analytics to learn the basics and, to where I am right now on data analytics has been a very, great, I must say it was a very great decision that I made, and I don't regret every bit of it. Basically, for me, Amdo Analytics, actually held us by the hand and walked us through the process. I like the way things are being taught, and I believe that for people that were on this call, that actually did, for I think we've been here since like 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock up until now. That was very insightful and very the knowledge was, the transferable skills. And for me, this was a thing I also enjoyed and made me make that decision of joining. And I must say, it has actually projected me or put me in that position where I actually want to. Yes, I might not be where I want to be exactly at the moment, but yes, it's a work in progress. And I'm thankful for the fact that my path crossed Amdo Analytics. And currently, I am, doing my internship at the moment as a data analyst here in the UK. And trust me, even after signing up with Amdo Analytics for the, July cohort, which will be starting up. Trust me, it doesn't just end on the last day of your cohort. The journey starts even after that. And what do I mean? The post training or the help that Amdo Analytics offer. I have learned and I am still learning. What do I mean? I have tasks that I need to, carry out every week as a data analyst intern. And trust me, I don't know it all. But the fact that you have people in Amdo Analytics that are ready to help you, hold you by your hands, the post training, That's exactly in summary what I'm talking about. There's a post training that, trust me, these are people that they are very selfless. Well, for me, I call at some odd hours or odd times, and these are people who will tell you, okay, no worries, I'm able to attend to you by 9 o'clock, or we can have a meeting by 10 p.m. when people are supposed to be sleeping. I'm not paying for any of this thing, but these are the things that you stand to benefit, or you stand to enjoy when you come on Amdo Analytics. This is not me trying to, or I'm not being paid to run this type of advert, or to talk anything. But trust me, for everyone that has actually been on this call, that has actually taken their time to be here, your 2 hours is not a waste of time. I was once like this. you know I've been to different tech companies. I've heard different things. People come there, speak English, bamboozle you. Oh, you will become this in less than 2 months. It's not, to be very honest. I'm not saying it's not possible, but to be realistic, there's an effect of a post, training that these people offer you, they render you. As a person, I've actually gone to two other edtech companies before coming to Amdo Analytics, and trust me, it is different. What they teach you within that 4 months, trust me, that is not what you get. What we did in Excel, what we did in Power BI, the things that I did not know in Excel, I was mind blown. When you talk about having to do the VLOOKUP, the macros, the VBAs, you don't get to do all of these things in 2 months. When people tell you you will learn Excel, Power BI, SQL, Tableau in 2 months, it is not realistic, and it's just done weekends, and you have tasks to do. But here at Amdo Analytics, trust me, when they tell you 4 months for you to learn all these things, to be very honest, you are the one that needs to sit up, because they would stretch you to learn this thing. They teach you, so the onus is on you to learn. So just to cut the long story short, so everybody can, wrap this meeting up, and have a deep thought about this meeting. And I would, if there's anybody on this call, my 2 cents for anybody who is on this call who is actually still there trying to say, oh, should I? No, trust me, this is the place to be. This is a place to learn. Trust me, if you are desiring of learning this thing. Yeah, people will say, oh, data is the new oil. Yes, it is the new oil, but then it is not as easy as it is. I got tasks that I was supposed to do, and I thought I knew, but trust me, you still need people. You still need people as a mentor. That was what I was looking for, that I got in Amdo Analytics. I needed mentors, people that I can call to help me. These people are selfless. They are ready to, like I said, hold you by your hands and walk you through the path until you get better at it, and continue to get better at it. So invariably, I would advise anybody who's, like I said, anybody who's on this call, who is considering of transitioning, or who is considering of taking this bold step of wanting to join Amdo Analytics, of wanting to learn data analytics, this is the place to be. Trust me. It's out there right now. There are a lot of people saying, oh, do this, do that, do that. But being in the UK here, yeah, somebody's asking a question for how many months. The training lasted for 4 months, was December, January, February, March into April. You have projects that you do, you get your certificate. Each month you do all these courses. In fact, let me just let you know, during the week, they have classes that you have to do, because they are very the honesty is there for me. That is just me. That's what I'll tell you. The honesty is there. Whatever they are telling you is what you get. What you see is what you get. Trust me, this is just a tip of an iceberg of what you have seen. And imagine you having to experience this in a masterclass. So tell me what you would experience when you come on when you sign up for the main event. And this is not a fluke. Like I said, I am not being paid to run any advert. I am a testimony of how Amdo Analytics has actually been of a great impact, for me. And it has actually helped me. And like I said, it's a work in progress. I am still learning. I am still learning, right? Learning doesn't end. I had to join this call because I felt like you don't know it all. As a data analyst, you keep learning. You keep learning data cleaning. And that is it. And just like what Sandra said earlier, when your data is not clean, trust me, it renders everything that it's not just about the visualization. The visualization visualization is just like you're cooking a soup, and then that is like the last thing. But for everything to come up, your pepper, your seasoning, your palm oil, your granite, everything is done in your Power Query. That is the engine. And if you cannot transform data, if you cannot clean data, you will be frustrated. It's not just the visualization. Having data cleaning as a skill, I've seen loads of job adverts, here, and what I am actually going through to clean data. If you cannot clean data, Excel is being underestimated. There's Power Query in Excel. I didn't know that before, but when I joined, I saw the power of it. There's Power Query in Excel. Everything that you need in Power BI, you can also do on Excel. Trust me, some companies are still using Excel. Power BI is just a visualization, it's just a business intelligence tool, but a lot is being done in Excel. And trust me, the co-founder of let me just give you guys an insight. The co-founder of Amdo Analytics, she's a wizard when it comes to Excel. So trust me, it is a place to be. You would learn a lot. In fact, let me just say it in pidgin. Now you go tire, you go run, because they will teach you. They would give you everything that you need. So you should be ready to take it in and be ready to learn. It is not easy. I know right now we're all chasing money, chasing this, but if we want that career transition, if we want to be where we want to actually be, trust me, this is a place to be, and they will help you even after. Like I said, the major thing is not even when you're doing it, but when you are done, when you get a job. Trust me, the imposter syndrome is there. Can you do it? You need people. Do you understand? And they are facilitators, they are wonderful people. They are people that they are willing to ask them, how is 1 + 1 = 2? Do you understand? As a baby toddler that is just trying to learn 1 + 1, they will teach you the basics. Ask the dumbest question. I'm sorry to use that word. Ask the lamest question. They are ready to explain and teach you. You can always call back. I had somebody on my class who didn't know anything. A grown-up man, he really didn't know much about Excel. He would tell you, oh, please, oh, after this class, I have to meet you. They are there. Imagine after doing a 3-hour class, and the facilitator is still there to say, oh, no problem, I'll wait after the call to help you. So just to cut this my long story short, like I said, it's a place to be, and trust me, you wouldn't regret every action. I know if people are trying to think, oh, how much it is worth every penny. When I mean it is worth it, it is worth it. I am a testimonial, I am a product of this, this thing, and I'm telling you that it is something that you should, take advantage of, and you won't have any regrets, concerning that. So that's all I have to say. Thank you very much for your time, and having to have stayed up to this extent. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate, and it's a privilege to be on this call as well. All right, everyone, enjoy the rest of your day and have a wonderful night rest. Over to you, Chinyere, or is it Sandra now?
Yes, Sandra, thank you very much, Doyi. Thank you for taking our time to do this. All right.
Yeah,
We
you're welcome.
you. Thank you very much. All right. So, guys, you've heard what Doyi said. All right. The fact is that I don't know actually how to how to beg people to register for this program, but then I know what speaks better is testimony of students who has gone through this program, who has done this with us, right? So this program will be lasting for good 4 months. Now you'll be having live classes, 3 months good live classes, and 1 month for capstone project. Now, from the beginning of the program to the end of the program, you will be building at least 10 good portfolio projects. Now, this program is project based. Now, we don't give you any PDF to go and read up. We don't give you any handouts. I'll say, you know what, to go and read up this thing. It's project based from the beginning to the end of the program. You'll be working with projects, and you'll be working with industry experts. Now, imagine what you've learned other 2 hours, right? You see an amazing thing how Sandra were able to, transform this amazing data, right? It was actually very messy data, and she transformed it to something insightful, something amazing. This just like let me say, will I say 1%? No, only 1% of what you've been learning in your 4 months. Look at what they said. She said, you'll be learning Excel, right? not just for me to tell you that you'll be learning everything under 2 weeks. That's just, some people will tell you you learn everything under 1 month. That's actually a big lie. Now, don't be deceived, right? Donny is actually our alumni who has done this program. Now, she, just like she said, she has done this same data analytics program with 2 edtech companies. Yet someone referred her, you know what, go to Advaned Analytics. That's in you're searching for, you will get it there. And if she has not gotten that value, she wouldn't have been here telling you guys about this. Okay. So of course, follow her up. If you want to search for her, her name is Doyin Aderemu. Now check her up on LinkedIn, ask her questions. Follow us on all our social media platforms, see the amazing thing that our students are doing out there. We don't promise you A and give you B. We promise you A, we give you A, 100% and certain. All right, there's a lot to be learning. Just like she said, it's beyond the classroom. We go outside the classroom to ensure that we provide amazing training for our students. You get value for your money, right? So that's actually our focus, to ensure that you get value for your money. Now imagine having 3 hours or 6 hours classes with you every week, and then we still provide extra time on Thursdays or Fridays, 1 hour, 2 hours for our students. Aside from that, there is extra time for any of our students who are not coping. We ensure that you get value for your money, right? We are not promising you A and giving you B. Now, thank you very much for those of you that have stayed to this moment. We really appreciate you, and we want to see you in our class, right? We want to see you. Advaned Analytics is not a place where we can promise you A and give you B. We promise you A and we give you A, right? And you guys, take note of something. I want you to take note of something. Data is the new oil, and any investment you need to yourself is the best investment. You can start now. Don't say that I should have started this thing program last year, but then why not starting it now? So the time to start your program or start your career transition is now. Right. Thank you very much, everyone. If you know that you really enjoyed today's section, take this moment. Right. I need you to type yes. Let's do this, and then we call it a night. Type yes or no. If you know that you don't enjoy it, don't lie to us. Just type no. Let's get that from you. If you know that you enjoyed today's section, just type yes. We are waiting so that we can call it a night. So the program fee is 200, and now let me tell you about the program fee, right? The program fee is actually 250,000 naira, but now we're on discount, right? So instead of you to pay 250,000 naira, you are paying 200,000 naira, and this program will be starting on 13th of July. So why not start now? Make your payment now. For the first, you are gonna make the first payment. You can pay 150,000 naira if you're paying in naira, right? You can pay 150,000 naira and then balance 50,000 naira 5 weeks into your program. 5 weeks into your program. All right, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you for staying to this moment. Cheers, everyone. Good night.